For thousands of years, the Calusa tribe ruled the waters of southwest Florida. Known as the people of the water, they built a civilization unlike any other, thriving where the land and sea become one. Their kingdom stretched across the shores, islands, bays, and rivers of this vast, shimmering world. They did not till the earth for crops, for the waters provided everything they needed. From the fish they speared with their barbed arrows to the shells they gathered for tools, homes, and adornments, the sea was both our provider and our protector. Shellfish, including clams, oysters, scallops, were abundant in the warm, shallow waters of Florida's coastal estuaries, particularly around the Gulf of Mexico. They also hunted deer, crocodiles, sea turtles, lizards and birds using the bow and arrow, nets and traps, along with fish, rays and even sharks. Their ancestors, with their hands and hearts, created the Great Mound Key, a great artificial island, built entirely of shell, bone and stone. Rising high above the waters of Charlotte Bay, it stands as a monument to their ingenuity and their bond with the natural world. Their warriors were as fierce as the waters they commanded. From their dugout cypress canoes, they could strike swiftly, navigating the currents with ease. The Calusa were masters of the bow and arrow, which were sharp and deadly, tipped with poison from the manchineel tree, whose touch could burn even the pale-skinned invaders who dared enter their lands. They were a tribe of strength, their villages humming with life, their women radiant with beauty and wisdom. The shells of the sea adorned their necks and wrists, speaking of the riches our waters gave them. The Calusa were known as a powerful and warlike tribe, using their large dugout canoes to dominate other tribes in southwest Florida and control regional trade networks. Smaller neighboring tribes often paid tribute to the Calusa in the form of food, shells, and other resources. The Calusa Empire included other tribes such as the Tequesta from the Biscayne Bay region, the Miami from the Lake Okeechobee region, the Tocobaga from the Tampa Bay region, and the Jaeger from the Palm Beach region. But as their mounds grew higher, as their power spread across the land, whispers came of a new threat from the east. Strange men, pale as ghosts and clad in shells like crabs, had begun to arrive. These men were the Spaniards, invaders from across the sea, bringing with them their strange ways, savage weapons, and filthy animals. The tribe heard stories of their greed, their hunger for land, gold, and power. They were like a disease, spreading across the lands of other tribes, and now they had come to the land of the Calusa. This is the story of one of those days, a day when the invaders landed on the shores of their sacred waters. The Spanish leader was a man named Ponce de Leon, a man of arrogance and greed who sought to plant his flag in the heart of our kingdom, but he did not know who the Calusa were. He did not know the fury of the Calusa warriors or the power of the poison arrows they wielded. He did not understand the strength of a tribe who had built islands from the sea and carved kingdoms from the shells of time. This powerful tribe were not going to let invaders land without a fight. The following is a first-person historical narrative of this day, from the perspective of the chief of the Calusa tribe. The sun had not yet climbed high in the sky when I saw the strange shapes on the horizon. From my perch atop the Great Mound Key, I watched the waters of our sacred bay shiver with disturbance. In their galleons they came on the breath of the wind, huge beasts of wood and cloth, foreign to the purity of our waters. From the land of the rising sun, these invaders had come again, this time bringing their animals and filth. This is our world, this is our home, and the invaders will never take it from us. Mound Key itself is a monument to our people's greatness, a testament to thousands of years of history. We, the Calusa, the people of the water, built this island with our bare hands, stone by stone, shell by shell. Mound Key rises from the heart of this bay, its height a symbol of our dominance over the waters. From this vantage point, I see everything: the tides, the mangroves, and those who would dare to trespass in our kingdom. I knew them instantly, though I had not seen them before. We had heard of the pale-skinned invaders, men whose flesh burned red beneath the sun, and whose breath stank like rotten meat. Word had spread from the north and east that these men, the Spaniards they called themselves, carried their hunger, their weapons and their strange animals into the homes of other tribes. Their greed swallowed rivers, their foul beasts, their pigs and cattle, creatures that tore at the earth and ate anything in their path, destroyed the lands they touched. They were men without honor. their mouths always filled with lies, their hands always reaching for more than they deserved. Their women, who smelled foul and dressed from head to toe in dirty garments, were weak and submissive, unlike the proud and strong Calusa women. The women of the Calusa tribe are our pride. They are strong, wise, and as beautiful as the dawn. Their dark hair flows like rivers of ink, their eyes as deep as the mangrove shadows where the water turns to night. They are the keepers of our homes, the bearers of our future, and the hearts of our villages. We adorn them with the shells of the sea, conch and whelk, shark teeth and pearls, treasures that speak of their importance to our people. And it is for them, for the mothers of the Calusa, that we warriors sharpen our arrows and polish our spears. It is for them that we stand ready to fight. From my vantage point, I could see the Spaniards more clearly as their swollen ships drifted closer to our shores, their sails billowing like ghosts. Soon they lowered smaller boats, filled with men clad in dull metal shells that glinted in the sun like the carapace of a crab. They rowed toward us, their eyes fixed on our homeland, their hearts as black as the depths of the sea. I signaled to my warriors below to follow me. We would see what these men wanted, and we would defend our land with the fury of the Calusa tribe. The intruders would never understand the beauty of what we protect. They do not know our world, nor could they comprehend the harmony of our lives. Our waters feed us, the bays teeming with fish that we hunt with skill, unmatched by any other tribe using bow and arrow from our boats. I have seen my warriors stand in their dugout canoes, their bow and arrow drawn with the grace of eagles. The arrows we craft are as precise as the strikes of the heron, their barbed tips piercing the silverbacks of mullet and snook. We are masters of these waters. The currents are our maps, the tides our timekeepers. Our canoes are built from the mighty cypress tree. With fire and stone, we carve these trees into vessels that glide over the water like the wind itself. They are not heavy and bloated like the invaders' ships. They do not foul the water, nor do they fight against it. No, our canoes live and breathe with the current. They are the lifeblood of our people, carrying our warriors, our women, our children to every corner of our kingdom. The Spaniards landed near the shallows where the mangroves stand like sentinels, their roots twisted into walls that guard the heart of our land. My warriors and I watched them from the shadows, unseen but seeing everything. There were many of them, these intruders, their faces hidden beneath hairy growths and strange coverings. They stumbled ashore, sweating in their metal shells. I saw them bring their filthy animals onto the sand, great fat pigs that grunted and rooted in the earth. Already I could imagine their destruction, their wasteful hunger devouring the plants and fish that sustain us. My blood burned with anger. These pale men had dreams of planting their flag here, of building their colonies where our villages already thrived. Their leaders spoke of treasures in this land, gold and pearls, riches they could not even see. They brought their animals, creatures that did not belong, cattle that trampled our earth, horses that carried them like gods, and pigs whose filth fouled the waters. Their tools were foreign to us, iron swords, shields, and armor, hard as the stones beneath the sea. But their weapons did not frighten us. Our warriors were faster, our arrows sharper, and our knowledge of this land far greater. At their lead was a man whose bearing spoke of authority. His skin was pale, his face creased with age and arrogance. He carried himself like a king, though no king of ours would wear such absurd clothing. He had a sword, long and thin, hanging at his side like a viper waiting to strike. I did not yet know his name, but later I would hear it whispered, Ponce de Leon. It is said He is seeking a fountain of youth, which restores the youth of anyone who drinks or bathes in its waters. The Spaniards looked at our land as though it already belonged to them. They spoke in their foul tongue, pointing to the trees, the water, the shells, and the fish. Greed lit their eyes, for their hearts are made of hunger, but they would not find what they sought here. They would find only death. We let them wander inland, far enough to taste the humid air of our land. My warriors and I followed silently, our steps quiet on the soft earth, our arrows nocked and ready. The pale men called out to each other, their voices rising in agitation. Their leader, the one they called Ponce, stood apart from the others, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. He looked around, his gaze sweeping over the trees as if he could sense us, but his eyes could not pierce the shadows where we waited. I raised my hand, signaling to my warriors to hold back. This kill would be mine. From my quiver, I drew an arrow tipped with poison, a gift from the roots of the manchineel tree, whose sap burns the skin and whose fruit kills the foolish who taste it. It is a weapon worthy of a king, and I am the king of the Calusa. I drew back my bow, the string humming with the song of death. I aimed for the pale man's thigh, where the soft flesh would welcome my arrow. The poison would do the rest. The arrow flew like a hawk, swift and true. It struck him, and he cried out, stumbling as his blood stained the earth. His men rushed to him, their faces twisted with fear and confusion. They carried him back to their ships, his cries echoing across the bay. They would sail away now, their leader broken, their spirits crushed. The Calusa had defended our lands. We watched from the shore as the Spaniards fled, their monstrous ships carrying them away like wounded animals. Their leader, Ponce de Leon, would not survive. The poison would rot him from within, as all filth must rot. Let him die knowing that the Calusa are not weak. Let him carry the shame of his failure to whatever gods he prays to. But we know they will come again. The invaders always return, driven by their greed and their hunger. They bring their strange weapons and their savage ways, but we will always be here, ready to defend our land, our waters, and our people. Today I stand atop Mound Key, the great shell mound that rises like a temple to our ancestors. From here I see the beauty of the Calusa kingdom spread out before me, the shimmering water, the green mangroves, the villages that thrive under the sun. The Spaniards may have their iron and their ships, but they will never understand the heart of this land. They will never know the taste of fish speared with an arrow, the sound of a canoe gliding through still water, or the warmth of a Calusa woman's smile. The Calusa's resistance to Ponce de Leon in 1521 marked one of the earliest examples of native resistance to European colonization in what is now the United States. Though Ponce de Leon sought to claim Florida for Spain, the Calusa ensured that his efforts ended in failure. Their victory at Charlotte Bay demonstrated their ability to defend their kingdom, a testament to their power as warriors. For generations, the Calusa thrived in the waters of southwest Florida, building artificial islands, fishing with precision, and crafting tools and art from the treasures of the sea. Mound Key remains a symbol of their ingenuity and strength, a monument rising from the water to tell the story of the people of the water and their defiance against those who sought to take what was not theirs. While the Spaniards would return in later years, the Calusa's resistance left a mark that endures in history. Their story is one of a people who understood the balance of their world, who honored their ancestors through great works, and who stood strong against invaders who brought only greed and destruction. The Calusa remind us of a time when the waters were still pure, the land still whole, and the people of the water still ruled the kingdom they built with their hands and hearts. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Please let us know what you think, and before you go, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel.